MIAA Monday back this week, a week off after the Division II Basketball National Championship out in Evansville. Commissioner Mike Racy joining me again this week. And MIAA, another national champion, Northwest winning their third straight NCAA tournament. Just another powerful showing by Northwest, but also the MIAA conference taking home another national title.
Yeah, I think it was a great week for the MIAA and for you and I to be there in Evansville and to to see the Bearcats have another magical run. I think a lot of people were asking questions midway through the season. What's wrong with the Bearcats? And as you and I have talked, the Bearcats play in probably the most competitive Division II basketball conference in the country. So Central Oklahoma, Emporia State, Washburn, teams that beat Northwest during the regular season, those are really good basketball teams. And, I think certainly we saw Northwest use its competitive regular season in the MIAA and then its tournament run at the MIAA tournament in Kansas City to really prepare it for postseason NCAA play and what it takes to survive a regional championship, and then what it takes to be successful in the Elite Eight. And we're very proud. It's what Coach McCollum and the student athletes at Northwest and the coaching staff. It's just remarkable to think what they've been able to accomplish, and very difficult, and we may never see something like that in Division II again.
You bring that last part up. For you sitting in the commissioner's chair, just what does that mean for the conference too, that we may never see this type of run, 3 straight? I mean, you could argue maybe that fourth one was sitting there in the COVID shortened year, and they won one in 2017. I mean, college basketball especially, you don't see this type of run because you get to March and we all know it can happen any night out there.
Yeah. And it speaks to really consistency and excellence and dominance and Chris, with things that have developed in the last 12 months in intercollegiate athletics, it's really going to make that type of a run even more difficult. The transfer portal, name, image, likeness, some of the things that we're seeing at the Division I level related to, arguments about pay for play and whether student athletes or employees, and, intercollegiate athletics is just changing, and some of that will impact our division. Some of it's already impacting our division. And, for Coach McCollum to do what he did and do it basically with the same group of student athletes, and have that success when they're freshmen and sophomores, and to stay with the program and continue that. It's just because the landscape has changed, it's really going to be hard to see a team that be able to replicate that run that we just saw with Northwest.
Does it give MIAA a little bit more bragging rights to say that it's arguably the best basketball conference in the country? We talked about regionalization the last time we were together, and how, people look at that, but does this kind of give the MIAA a little bit more power? Because we talk about what football has been for so long. Now you've got basketball here for the last several years with MIAA schools.
Yeah, I'll let some of the folks that spend time looking at Division II nationally, or some of the folks that have the rating indexes and spend time trying to evaluate and compare. I'll let them, make those decisions. But I think for me, it's personally satisfying to see our MIAA schools doing well. Since I've been commissioner, this is the 14th national championship that the MIAA has won, and more important to me is it's over a number of different sports. This is the 9th different sport that an MIAA school has won a national title, and I think there's 6 or 7 different schools in that mix of 14. And that's what's satisfying to me as a commissioner, is that we're not a conference that's dominating in just one sport. And we're not a conference that has just one or two schools that are, competing at the national level. Our conference strength is wide and deep, and that's what prepares our schools, whether we're talking about women's basketball or men's basketball or track and field or volleyball or soccer. When you look up and down a school's regular season schedule, every game, every week is a hard game or match, and it prepares our student athletes to be ready for what they're going to face at the end of the year. And that's what makes me proud as commissioner, is knowing that our teams do compete, and that they do so with class, and they represent our conference and the schools that are in the MIAA at the highest level.
All right, so I can say it though, that the MIAA. I'll say, I won't make you say it, so I'll say it then. That the MIAA is arguably probably the best conference right now out there. Division II. Someone will probably come back at me. That's fine. They can't come back at you. They'll come back at me for this one. So everybody's good.
Well, I tell you, Chris, there were when we look at the national championship opportunities that we just had this winter, we can't forget that the MIAA took home another national championship crown, and that was in the sport of wrestling. Mm-hmm. And Nebraska Kearney, took home the NCAA Division II wrestling championship. The team that finished second was the University of Central Oklahoma. So we had the national champ and the runner-up in wrestling. Missouri Western certainly made a deep run. Regional championship, Elite Eight in women's basketball. Pitt State men, I think, finished third at nationals in indoor track and field. So, Chris, when you look, the winner wasn't just about Northwest winning another championship in men's basketball. The MIAA did well in every sport that we sponsor, and as I said earlier, it was a number of different schools that were helping to carry the MIAA flag.
So we're saying numbers don't lie. That's we'll leave it at. There it is. All right. Move on to Missouri Western women's basketball. You talk about them making that Elite Eight run, winning the regional championship. Special honor went to one of the freshmen on the team, Caden Cobb, Elite 90 award, for doing something that I could only dream of in college. 4.0 GPA, higher than just incredible. Like, she got that honor. I believe Northwest had Jaron Richmond last year, I believe, won the honor when they're out in Evansville too. But we were talking about it off air, but that's hard to do. Number one, 4.0 GPA, but as a student athlete to do that with how many hours you are in the classroom, but also practices. But you have to meet a certain criteria to qualify for this Elite 90 honor too. Yeah,
Washburn took home the honor in volleyball this past fall, and you're right, Chris. It's it's the highest honor that the NCAA provides to scholar athletes at each of the NCAA's 90 different championships in all three divisions. And the program was actually created by President Miles Brand. I was working at the NCAA office at the time that Dr. Brand came up with this idea, and he said that he wanted to create something that allowed the NCAA to recognize students that have achieved the highest level of competition on the playing field, to also recognize the work that they do in the classroom. And it's a great honor when the MIAA is able to have a student athlete that's called out at an Elite Eight or at a national track championship and is recognized as the best student of anyone competing at the championship. And you're right. It's hard for a team to get to the Elite Eight, or it's hard for a student athlete to get to a national championship. And then, once you're there, and all the time and effort you put in to be a skilled athlete, to then be recognized as among all of those skilled athletes, the best student, it's quite an honor. And we've, since the award was started in 2009, 2010, I think, the MIAA is fortunate that we won this award. Caden Cobb's receiving that award gave the MIAA its 44th Elite 90 winner. And you were bragging earlier about the work that we do on the field and whether we're the best. Well, I can say with data behind it that we are dominating this award at the Division II level. As I indicated, the MIAA, we've received that 44 times since the award was created. The second closest conference to the MIAA in receiving the Elite 90 award is the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, having won it 31 times. So it's a great honor. Caden's demonstrated she's a great athlete and also a great student, and her accomplishment certainly makes the conference proud.
Couple more things, I'll get you out of here. But first, we'll start with another award that's coming up tonight, the Bebo Francis Award for the best small college basketball player. Trevor Hudgens of Northwest up for that one. I've been pushing, kind of saying, yeah, his resume is almost unmatched, but you have to count Division III and MIAA sitting in there too. But he looks like, I don't know, in my opinion, he's the front runner for just what they're able to do. But that's also me watching just him and not watching Division III and in the MIAA, but he has a chance to win that award tonight too.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It's the Heisman Trophy of small college basketball, and I think they announced 9 finalists on Saturday, and you're right. Yeah, they're making the announcement tonight online, and I think Justin Pitts may have been the only winner that the MIAA has had in the 6 or 7 years that the award has been out there. There were 3 Division II players nominated, Trevor being one of the 3, young man from Black Hill State. I think the other individual was from Florida, I believe. I can't remember what school, but certainly, Chris, if the award was about career achievement, it'd be a no-brainer. No one could match the hardware and wins and all tournament players, all conference, all American. No one could stack up and match Trevor. The award is intended to be the player of the year.
Yeah.
And how Trevor compares this year with those other players, but I'm pulling for him, obviously, and I think he's got a great shot, but we'll find out later tonight.
Along the lines you talked about, it's the Heisman Trophy of small college basketball. How important is it to have these type of honors for what it is, small college basketball? I mean, making sure that it's not just looking at what Division I is doing, whether it's men's basketball, women's basketball, football, whatever it is, to recognize the top tier athletes that come out of, the smaller schools and across the country too.
Yeah. And I think it means a lot to the game of basketball. John McCarthy is someone that helped, really he's responsible for starting the small college basketball Hall of Fame and the small college basketball invitational that for a few years was in St. Joe, and certainly is responsible for this award and bringing recognition to small college basketball. And I think it's just important for the sport. It helps certainly young people understand the opportunities that are there for them to go, not just to a large school and the ones you see playing in March Madness on CBS or TBS, but that there are other hundreds of opportunities that you can take advantage of. And we know from the Hall of Fame that exists in small college basketball, there are some legends of the game, some individuals that played small college basketball that went on to NBA and Hall of Fame careers. People like Earl Monroe that helped help redefine the way that basketball's played, and so it's important that we recognize that not all basketball is played at the University of Kansas and North Carolina, but there are hundreds of other places that the game is played, and these are very talented and skilled student athletes, and some of them will have a chance. Most of these finalists will have a chance to play professionally and to get paid to play basketball.
Absolutely. The Bebo Francis Award tonight, halftime, I believe, of the Division I men's basketball championship, North Carolina, Kansas. But I'll get you out of here on this one. Start looking forward a little bit because I know we're all kind of unwinding from the winter sports season, but spring sports, they've been going for a little bit now, but now it's actually feeling like spring outside and not maybe so many postponements and snow delays and whatever else is going on around, the Midwest and middle of March and April that causes a lot of postponements, cancellations, whatever it may be. But now that we're here for spring, it's time to look forward a little bit too.
Yeah, and we'll be having in the next 4 weeks eight different MIAA championships that we'll conduct. We'll start out here in a couple of weeks with the men's golf and the women's golf championships. Men's golf will be played here in Kansas City. The women's golf will be played at Sand Creek Station in Newton, Kansas. And then when those tournaments, championships are over, then we'll be down in Edmond, Oklahoma, the end of April for the men's and women's tennis championships at the Edmond Center Court. It's a unbelievable tennis facility. Has hosted a number of national tournaments. They're great hosts for the MIAA. Softball will be back in Edmond at the University of Central Oklahoma, and then baseball will follow that also at the University of Central Oklahoma. And men's and women's track and field this year, Chris, in the first week of May at Emporia State, who has hosted NCAA national track meets there at Emporia State University. So not only great championships as far as competition, but we provide our student athletes with first class facilities that they're able to play at. A number of these facilities are venues that the NCAA uses for national championships. So we're very lucky in the MIAA that we have great places to go and stage our championships.
Never slows down, never stops. MIAA Commissioner Mike Racy, thank you as always for coming on. And next week we'll dive completely into spring sports. And now we've closed the chapter on winter sports here this week too.
You bet. Good to see you, Chris. Thank you.